Coco Gauff just did what millions of athletes have dreamt of, but no one has dared: suing a major media network for disrespect. In an era where every word spoken on air can spread across the internet in minutes, a casual remark from Fox Sports ignited a $50 million war between a 19-year-old tennis player and one of the most powerful media empires in America. But what made the world stop wasn't the $50 million figure. It was the way Coco fought back. No tears, no arguments, no public defense. She didn't need to go on air to complain. She didn't need a self-defense hashtag. She let the silence do its work until the lawsuit appeared. And in that moment, Coco Gauff was no longer the young star of the tennis world. She became the icon for a generation of athletes who will no longer remain silent in the face of public insult. Think about it: a television commentator, paid to analyze technical skills, decided to launch a personal attack, mock her maturity, and insult the efforts of a teenager who had just won. And not just on TV, but on national, live, uncut, unedited television. If you ever thought celebrities must endure because they live in the spotlight, this story will make you reconsider. Because this time, the victim refused to be silent. This time, she didn't let social media decide right and wrong. She took the truth to court. And you won't believe who had to apologize first. This is not just a lawsuit. This is a turning point in sports culture. A warning to all who think athletes are bait for TV ratings. Do you think Coco Gauff did the right thing, or did she go too far? The answer lies at the 14-minute mark, and it will keep you glued to your screen. If you care about the truth behind the serves and the plays off the court, subscribe to Pro Tennis 360. What the media won't tell you, we will. Coco Gauff, from tennis prodigy to new generation icon. Before becoming the focus of a noisy legal battle, Coco Gauff was just a 15-year-old making her Wimbledon debut and jaw-dropping the world. She didn't just defeat Venus Williams, who was once her idol, but did so with astonishing composure. The press called it the arrival of a new queen. But what few knew, behind that radiant smile was a girl who had to grow up faster than her true age. Born in Atlanta, Georgia, and raised in Delray Beach, Florida, Coco did not come from the wealthy background typically seen in tennis. Her parents, Corey and Candy Gauff, were not businessmen or investors. They were genuine working people, a basketball coach and a health professional. And they gave up everything to support their daughter's dream. No expensive private schools, no hired PR team, no reliance on famous relatives. Just a racket, a ball, and the conviction that their daughter belonged at the top. From very early on, Coco learned to handle pressure like an adult. She had to answer the press, face national expectations, and hear the criticisms. Too young, just a fluke, needs to mature. She was silent. She practiced. And then, step by step, climbed to the world number 3 spot. Yet, that very maturity became a target for attack. In the eyes of some conservative commentators, a 19-year-old black girl speaking confidently and winning was something too uncomfortable to accept. And that is why a single statement on Fox Sports became the last straw. Have you ever wondered, why would a seasoned commentator attack a young athlete so personally? In the next section, you will see why Coco's silence was not weakness, but a terrifyingly calculated move. The turning point on air. One statement. $50 million. Everything started like any other sports analysis segment. Fox Sports was airing a pre-Miami Open commentary show. No scandal. No drama. But then a host who branded himself as a truth teller suddenly diverted from professional analysis. Instead of commenting on match strategy or physical condition, he launched an insulting tirade against Coco. Too immature, unstable temperament, and success inflated by the media. That was no longer analysis. It was a personal attack. And worse, it happened live in front of millions of viewers. No filter, no editing, no chance to retract. Initially, public opinion expected Coco to speak out immediately. But she chose silence. The media began to take sides. One side argued she should endure it like all other stars. The other began to speak up in her defense. Hashtags like #DefendCoco and #RespectTheGame appeared on Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, and spread like wildfire. And then just a few days later, a legal bomb was detonated. Coco Gauff officially filed a lawsuit against Fox Sports and the host, seeking $50 million in damages. But this was not an act of anger. It was a calculated counterattack. She didn't live stream crying. She didn't appear on talk shows to complain. She let her lawyers work. They collected every video clip, every word, every social media reaction, to turn insult into evidence. You see, Coco didn't play by the old media rules. She rewrote the playbook. The masterclass revenge. Coco counters with law, not emotion. While the online community was buzzing, the person at the center of a storm, Coco Gauff, maintained an almost unbelievable composure. Anyone who has experienced a media smear campaign will understand that the mental pressure from toxic words is far more terrible than a physical injury. But Coco did not retreat. She advanced straight into a different court, the courtroom. Coco's lawsuit didn't just demand money. It listed 3 clear charges: defamation, emotional distress, and professional harm. And each charge was supported by specific evidence: the timing of the statement, the deliberate use of insulting language, and the immediate impact on her reputation and sponsorship contracts. A renowned media lawyer even commented, "This isn't just about damages. It's about drawing a line." Meaning, this was the boundary between professional analysis and personal humiliation. When the MC implied that Coco's success was manufactured, he didn't just insult her feelings. He directly threatened her income, endorsement deals, and playing opportunities. Remarkably, instead of letting PR handle it, Coco was listed directly on the lawsuit filing. She wasn't anonymous. She didn't use a proxy. She stood in the middle of the court, this time holding legal documents, not a racket. And the public outcry intensified. The reaction from Fox. They deleted the original video, removed the clip from their website, and issued a statement saying, "We respect Coco Gauff." But the internet doesn't forget. The clip was re-uploaded thousands of times, becoming the #1 viral footage that month. And in the eyes of the audience, the silence from the MC, who had previously criticized so boldly, was the clearest admission of guilt. The domino effect. One lawsuit, the entire system shakes. Immediately after the lawsuit was made public, things no one expected began to happen. Sponsors like Nike, New Balance, and even a few major tech companies publicly supported Coco. They didn't shy away. They praised her for the courage to protect her honor and set a new standard for athlete rights. And then other sports television networks began to panic. Internal sources revealed. Content producers at ESPN, NBC Sports, and CBS Sports called emergency meetings, sending internal emails demanding review of content moderation procedures, limiting personal statements, and especially avoiding insulting young athletes, particularly women. An editor bluntly told the press, "No one wants to be the next Fox." One lawsuit was enough to make the entire industry self-correct. And Coco? She continued to play in tournaments as if no scandal had occurred. Every match she won was a counter-punch. Every photo with a smile was a message: "I am not defeated." Industry experts began to look at her differently. Not just a tennis player, but a person redefining the role of the athlete in the chaotic media age. And perhaps this lawsuit will go down in history as the turning point, where the line between freedom of speech and personal attack was clearly drawn. What do you think if, next time, every statement on TV had to be as accountable as a statement in court? After the storm, life goes on, but not as before. Amidst the legal whirlwind and sensational headlines, many thought Coco Gauff would retreat, avoid the media, and focus on handling the aftermath. But the reality was quite the opposite. She didn't cancel tournaments. She didn't avoid the cameras. She didn't hide from the audience. Instead, Coco stepped onto the court with a stronger demeanor than ever before and played a brilliant season. At Indian Wells, she didn't just win her opening match in less than an hour, but she received a standing ovation from the audience as she left the court. Not for the score, but for her character. The media began to shift its tone. The papers that had criticized her as immature now called her the new standard. In press conferences, Coco didn't talk about the lawsuit, But every answer carried the energy of someone in control of the narrative. When asked if the noise affected her performance, she just smiled. "I've been dealing with pressure since I was 15. This is nothing I haven't seen before." But one thing has changed: the public perception of silence. Previously, people used to call it avoidance. Now, they call it formidable composure. From the practice court to the fashion runway, Coco appeared with a new image. Not just a top player, but the face representing a generation of athletes who dare to say no. No to being insulted. No to accepting double standards. And especially, no to having to please the media to be respected. The question is, if you had the opportunity to control how others talk about you, would you dare to do as Coco did? The media twist. The judge becomes the judged. If you thought the lawsuit was the final blow, you haven't seen the twist that followed. As Fox Sports tried to salvage its image with statements and wishes for Coco's future success, the commentator who made the controversial statement disappeared from the air. Not a word of explanation. Not a single reappearance. An internal source leaked. Fox is trying to handle it internally to avoid further damage. They understand this is no longer a professional issue, but a reputational issue. And if that's true, then this lawsuit didn't just affect Coco. It also shook the very career of the person who tried to tear her down. The internet, of course, didn't let it go. The quickly removed clip was re-uploaded. Reaction videos flourished across YouTube and TikTok, garnering millions of views. In the public eye, the incident was no longer a sports drama, but became a symbol for the confrontation between media power and an athlete's right to respect. Influencers, even MCs from rival channels, joined the discussion. An ESPN host mockingly stated, "If you can't talk sports without attacking someone's dignity, maybe pick another job." A counterpunch from the media industry itself. And for Coco, that was clear evidence that, this time, public opinion was on her side. Coco Gauff, not just a tennis player, but a cultural imperative. Coco doesn't need to prove anything more about her playing skills. But this lawsuit made her part of a broader wave of change. The Gen Z generation of athletes no longer just competes. They have a voice, a platform, and a global audience. Coco is just one of the pioneers. When a 19-year-old athlete dares to sue a national media conglomerate, it is not just an individual act. It is a declaration to the entire industry. No one is too big to be challenged. Veteran journalists call this the Gauff effect, where the media must start weighing every word, no longer free to criticize recklessly without fear of backlash. Even the WTA, the Women's Tennis Association, issued a statement supporting Coco, emphasizing the importance of mental health and respectful coverage. That was not a mere courtesy statement. It was confirmation that the line has been drawn, and those who cross it will face consequences. From a single serve, Coco transformed herself into a new rulemaker. And when you look back at this journey, remember, not every ace happens on the court. There are shots, silent ones, that change an entire system. The lawsuit isn't settled, but Coco has won on all fronts. The lawsuit hasn't gone to trial. No judge has issued a formal verdict. But for many observers, Coco Gauff has already won, without waiting for a legal decision. She won the media battle. She won the reputation battle. And most importantly, she won the public's heart. Because whether you love or hate tennis, whether you've known Coco for a long time or just heard her name via TikTok, you cannot deny this. She taught America, and perhaps the world, a lesson about boundaries, respect, and courage when publicly insulted. Her victory did not come from frantic clapping back, but from composure, intelligence, and step-by-step strategy. She chose to attack with the legal system, not social media. She didn't ask for pity. She demanded accountability. That is what makes this lawsuit different from all the typical media controversies. It's not a fleeting storm of anger that passes, but a genuine change. TV stations are revising their scripts. Editors are learning to distinguish between technical criticism and defamation. And the audience, for the first time in years, stood by an athlete not because of her achievements, but because of the values she represents. A fan commented, "She's not just serving aces, she's serving justice." And that is the final lingering feeling. This event will not be remembered for the $50 million, but for the message. Do not think athletes will remain silent victims forever. Open ending. Is this the start of a sports media revolution? Looking back at the entire journey from the Fox Sports clip to the wave of reaction, Coco Gauff's lawsuit is creating an effect that extends far beyond the borders of one sport. Media experts are asking, if young athletes start using the law to protect their reputation, will commentary channels still dare to speak recklessly? If everyone is required to take responsibility for their words, is freedom of speech being misunderstood? Some say Coco went too far. Some say she was too smart. But one thing is undeniable. She set a precedent. And that precedent made the entire media industry cautious. Not everyone has a powerful legal team like Coco. But her action created a new mindset. You have the right to speak up when you are insulted. You have the right to say, I do not accept the way you talk about me. And most importantly, you don't have to wait for the media to apologize to feel that you deserve respect. So, as you look back at everything that has transpired, from the initial insult, the public backlash, the lawsuit, the public support, ask yourself, if you were Coco, would you have the courage to stand up? And if you ever thought that sports are just a game on the field, then perhaps you haven't truly understood the power an athlete can wield when they know their own worth. Not just a lawsuit, but a cultural awakening. In a world where words can spread faster than the truth, Coco Gauff chose the hardest path, not reacting emotionally, but countering with principle. Not complaining, but acting. Not just to seek justice for herself, but to speak for hundreds of other athletes who have been insulted on television without a chance to respond. She didn't wait for anyone to defend her. She didn't need a third party to apologize on her behalf. She stood up herself, under her real name, with her true credibility, to demand one simple thing: respect. And that is the most memorable message of this lawsuit. Coco Gauff is not just the world number 3 player. She is a reminder that fame is not an excuse for others to hurt you and then retract it with impersonal opinion. In sports and in life, everyone has the right to have their dignity protected. You may not play tennis. You may not care about media law. But if you have ever felt misjudged, ever been insulted for daring to express yourself, then this story is also yours. Because for the first time, an athlete has proven that silence does not equal weakness. It is the preparation for a decisive shot. And if you want to continue following stories that are not just about scores, but where sports intersect with honor, justice, and human value, subscribe to Pro Tennis 360. We don't just tell about the match, we tell about the truth behind every serve. Now, it's your turn to speak up. Do you think Coco Gauff was right to file the lawsuit, or did she go too far? Which athlete's story of confronting the media do you want us to tell next? Leave your comments below. And if you think someone else needs to hear this story, don't hesitate to share the video. Because who knows, you might be the one who inspires the next great shot.